Good morning. Today is Friday, September 27th. You're hanging with Uncle, and I'm Gene. Uh, it's payday for a lot of people out there in the working class, so please don't forget to pay yourself. As little as possible, pay yourself. Make sure you are your own bill, just like your rent and your utilities. You make yourself a payment and save. Because there's something I want to talk about today, and it's about where our money is really going and how powerful it is. So I want to precursor that with Hurricane Helene that just slammed into Florida overnight, and so far, as Lee says, this broadcast, we know there are three fatalities, one in Florida and two in Georgia. So our hearts go out to them for sure and their families. Natural disasters are nothing to uh, take lightly, which is why I want to talk about global warming. All right. So if you still want to say it's a hoax, just look at Helene. And the issue is not really so much are there more of them, it's the size and amount of damage that is being caused. They're more extreme. So, for example, I remember when Hurricane, I believe it was Wilma, ran through Florida a couple of decades ago and caused a lot of damage. It looked like somebody just had a large foot and stepped across, Florida, and there was a big empty spot where the hurricane passed through and just wiped everything out. Um, so let's put that in perspective, okay? Let's say Hurricane Wilma came at Miami at 150 miles an hour, uh, winds, traveling at about 30 miles an hour, okay? Uh, well, compare that to Helene, which let's give it the same numbers, but to put it in perspective, let's look at the size of it, because if Wilma was about that big, Helene is about that big. It's the weather patterns that are getting more extreme that are causing more damage. And that's what they don't want to tell you. Now, who benefits from that? Who benefits from denying climate change and calling it a hoax? In my opinion, it's the people that are making the most money off of denying it, because they make their money off of putting CO2 emissions into the atmosphere, causing these extreme patterns significantly. Not the only source, but are a significant reason, because we know, we measure, NASA measures, our scientists measure the carbon effects in the atmosphere, as compared to how it was and where it's going and the results of that. So again, it's not global warming when you see things icing over. It has nothing to do with temperature. It has to do with the patterns of the weather. All right. So let's say Exxon. All right. Exxon for the last quarter made over 9 billion for-profit dollars. That's a lot of money going to one organization. But let's not leave it there. Let's actually compare it to what I'll just call, the big three that most everybody uses, all right? Shell. Shell has, I think, like over 1 billion for-profit dollars, and Chevron has over 4 billion for-profit dollars just for last quarter. That's $14 billion in 3 months that three organizations have made. Okay? So when you say, again, and I've talked about this before, oh, Biden made gas prices do this, oh, Trump made gas prices do that. Neither one of them own an oil, company. So it's price gouging that is causing it. It is not a president, because the president doesn't set gas prices. The president doesn't own, a gas company. They don't own a gas station that say charge this month. It's the owners of the oil and gas industry. And that's just three. There are more. Again, my research, I put the links in the description box below if you want to read the articles for yourself. But, again, that's a lot of money. So you do the math, okay? You do the math. And it's not just hurricanes. You also have tornadoes that are getting more extreme. And don't forget that the more CO2 that is in the atmosphere, the warmer our waters get. And the warmer our waters get, the more extreme weather patterns become in the water, like in the Gulf Stream and with, hurricanes, tsunamis, whatever you want to call them. So let's pay attention to that, focus on it, because think about it. Have you ever heard of any gas company? Have you ever heard of Exxon, Chevron, or Shell, or any other gas company coming out and endorsing a presidential candidate? No, because they give money to everybody. Because if you win, you grease the palms of those who helped you. If you lose, you thank the person that gave you enough money to run your campaign. And all you're doing is making friends. So that's why you'll never see, someone in the oil and gas industry come out and endorse a presidential candidate on behalf of that company, because they're giving money to both candidates. They are the problem. And, we need to realize that, they're laughing all the way to the bank because we're fighting amongst ourselves instead of paying attention to who we should be paying attention to. All right. Speaking of paying attention, I want to talk about Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, who was indicted on bribery charges. And, if you're wrong, you're wrong. It doesn't matter to me. And this is a federal case because it involves him taking money from the Turkish government and not reporting it. So let's look at our so-called weaponized justice system, all right? Only one person is boo-hooing and crying in their oatmeal about being indicted and prosecuted, all right? And that's Cadet Bone Spurs, because the DOJ has also indicted and convicted Senator Bob Menendez, Democrat from New Jersey. They have indicted Democratic Congressman from the House of Representatives, Henry Cuellar. They have also indicted, prosecuted, and convicted the president's son, Hunter. So it doesn't look like a weaponized justice system to me, because now also you can add the Democratic mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, to that list. It looks like a Justice Department that's doing their job, not playing politics. So, again, you're with the majority. The majority of people, even George Santos and his conviction, you don't hear him complaining about a witch hunt. It was, okay, I did it, I'm wrong, I'm going to pay the consequences. Even if you say I didn't do it, you're convicted and you're going to pay the consequences. But why is this idiot getting all the news press notoriety over, convictions? Because he thinks he's above the law, and a majority of the American people, the 81 million people that fired him in 2020, want him held accountable just like if it was you or me. All right, think about it like that. He does not get a pass from me as far as I'm concerned, because the justice system is working just like it's supposed to, very slowly and very efficiently. That's my thoughts on that. Would love to know what you think. And finally, let's see. Oh well, I forgot what else I was going to talk about, but anyway, it'll come to me in just a second. It's still early in the morning. I'm still on island time and trying to get my thoughts together. So, Ukraine, that's what it was. Yeah. President Zelensky was here in the United States, met with President Biden, Vice President Harris, and is supposed to meet with Cadet Bone Spurs today. Now, look in comparison and contrast, all right, as to all three of these people meeting with this one person, where you have President Biden and Vice President Harris realizing that Ukraine needs help from communist Russia and Vladimir Putin's unauthorized war on Ukraine. And you look at Cadet Bone Spurs, who says he has nothing but praise for Vlad and they're good friends, and do what you want. I'm not going to stop you. Ukraine's not a member of the European Union, at least not officially, I don't think. And they're not a member of NATO. So he has no reason to, care about what's happening to the people of Ukraine because it doesn't affect him. That's all he does is talk about him and his grievances, not you, and definitely not the people of Ukraine, who he thinks too many of them have died. It's a lost cause. Leave it alone. Go ahead and take it, Vlad. Well, history is a really good teacher because this is why you don't want that to happen. During the World War II era, Neville Chamberlain, who was the Prime Minister of Great Britain, used the appeasement strategy. Oh, give him what he wants and he'll stop, But, of course, we all know the result of that is that Hitler didn't stop. He continued on, took France, damn near took Moscow. And, you can't treat people like that because that's how they're going to act. So, I'm sorry. I personally support Ukraine's war against communist Russia. But apparently, Cadet Bone Spurs supports communism and communist Russia, even saying he wants to be a dictator starting day one. So, let's, again, not take our eyes off the prize. Understand what's important. Kamala Harris is not perfect. I could say some things that I really don't care about her platform. But, do your own homework because I'm not here to do it for you. All right? If you like this kind of content, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. And also the notification bell so you'll never miss another video. And thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And once again, don't forget to pay yourself. Be kind to one another.